This is We Kalled It. Once again, long break for us after the Super Bowl. We were right about the Seahawks winning and it being a boring game. So we didn't want to do a victory lap too soon. So we decided to put it off for a month. Anyways, I'm here, Phillip Call with Dr. Ken. Connor, we have not heard from him in like 2 months. The last thing he said to us is, I'm going traveling for work for the next 2 weeks. Dead silent since. Anyways, hopefully he comes back during the
Yeah.
offseason.
Yeah, I don't even know if he came back yet. I hope he's doing all right.
Hopefully his plane didn't crash or something crazy happened. Anyways, so Ken, 1 month away. Anything exciting happen in life?
It's dead of football season. I start to pretend like I know basketball for a little bit. And then the NFL just does an amazing job of spreading everything out perfectly to where it's like, hey, you're off for a bit. And we're already in combine seasons. Combine season's a little exciting because I know nothing if they're not Ohio State football players in terms of college. And unless their last name is Mendoza.
Yeah. So for college football, for me, like the combine comes and I see all these reports on Twitter. And after playing Madden, I learned my lessons that the people with the best combine stats aren't actually the best players. Blew my mind when I was like 8 and found that out. Like, if you can run the fastest, why aren't you the best receiver? So I just kind of take it all with a grain of salt and then wait till the draft and read draft grade reports because I don't know anything prior. So I'm not going to pretend like I do. I'd rather just get yelled at by Connor when he's here.
So and it happens every year. Last year, I was listening to like the Todd McShay podcast, and he's just doing his own thing. He's finally is like, oh, unfiltered. I don't, I'm not working for ESPN or anything. And man, it was just as inaccurate as every other year. Like the classic one is people talking still to this day. We're what 2 minutes in, I'm bringing up the Cleveland Browns, but talking about draft stock, and anytime anybody goes, Shador Sanders, he top 5 talent. I'm like, no, they said that before the draft. It was a top 5 round talent. He went in the 5th round. That's where his value is. People decided to pass over him for 4 rounds. You can't mention that people thought he would go high. He didn't. That's no longer his value.
100% agree that I'm just like it's like fantasy football, right? Like if I go through and I'm like, oh, I draft for value and I pick running backs the first 6 rounds and I can only play 2, it's like, okay, those other 4 picks are wasted. It's not about where they were drafted. It's about actually what they can contribute. That's right. Instead of the Browns, we go to fantasy football. That's more valuable information. Anyways,
look at us missing Connor so much.
So I got a fun Dynasty tidbit in a little bit, actually, to share. Anyways, yeah, my life, I got a new job. That's why interviewing and negotiating with my current company about how I'm going to leave kept us actually busy and away for a little bit.
Oh, so are you done? Have you started the new job now? Or
no, I don't start the new job until April. I get to stay at my current job for a month. I have clients.
Sucks.
No, it's I offered it to keep like good relationships because I have clients that finish out contracts on April 1st. So I said I will see them through, and then after that I'm leaving. And they agreed to it, but they said they'll pay out my bonus, which was nice.
Nice.
Anyways, so all good there. Kept us busy. Cooper has rolled over from front to back and tried to crawl today at 4 months old. Don't want to brag.
That is impressive, guys. If you don't know birth milestones, I don't know why you wouldn't, but no, starting to crawl at 4 months is impressive.
He is not starting to crawl. He's attempting, but he's a failure at this moment. All right. So look at that. 4 minutes in, can finally start talking about the NFL. Oh, actually, the other thing, Ken, you talk about betting the NBA. My favorite current bet system is to take all the teams that are tanking, and when they play a team that is trying to win and make playoffs, you parlay all the teams that want to win against the tanking teams, and you get like a money line parlay that's like around -150 to +150. Surprisingly effective because of how good this NBA draft is. If you want to try it, you can. I don't recommend it though. It's really bad when you have like 3 games going and you see the tanking teams are all up by 10 halfway through the second, and then they go full tank mode in the third, and it works out. But it's a stress ball for sure.
Yes, we don't know anything about NFL draft, but NBA draft turns out it's a lot easier to scout.
Yep. All right. So recent trades in the NFL, 2 big ones, lots of little ones. And we're only going to talk about the 2 big ones because they matter a lot. Number 1, Rams still refuse to draft in the first round and get Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is actually like a big deal for the Rams, who already had a great defense, awesome pass rush, and now they get like a lockdown corner on the outside. And then the Chiefs kind of, they've had like 4 great corners come through, and they are all off the roster now after a bad year. Very scared for the Chiefs. What are your thoughts?
It's pretty funny. Did you see? I think Pat Mahomes actually sent out like a tweet or something where he was like, "Man, I love Trent McDuffie, but we definitely fleeced the Rams here." It looks bit. So this year's first is pick number 29, and it's next year's third. So don't know how good, how much value it actually is. I mean, it's almost closer to a second and a third. So
well, then that third is like probably late in the third. So do you call it a fourth too?
It's next year. So that's not how that works, Phil.
You don't know that the Rams are just going to be good again, huh?
And that all depends on Matt Stafford.
That's true.
But I think Matt Stafford hangs around. But no, I think that's a lot of value for him. I know cornerbacks kind of hard to find. I mean, that's just a lot of draft capital, I think, even with it being like later round. And so the Chiefs, they definitely need just more assets. And it's that Pat Mahomes contract's finally starting to kick in.
Yeah. They had to restructure Mahomes' contract, cut their left tackle or right tackle, I can't remember, to get some cap room and flexibility.
Yeah. You mean the most penalized offensive lineman in the league last year?
At least he's trying, man. Watch the Browns. I wish we had a few more penalties last year.
That was my joke in the group chat. I said, "Hey, this guy is at least available. He's out there holding every play, but he's out there. There's some value there." And no, nobody, no on the hook.
Anyways, so the other trade, I'm super biased here. Bills getting DJ Moore for a second and a fifth, and then, or I can't remember. And then I think a third goes to the Bills. Some kind of weird pick flop on the back end, but really DJ Moore for a second rounder. The worrisome part, like, I love this deal for the Bills because they, instead of Brandon Cooks at 33-year-old dropping passes late in Broncos games in the playoffs, I think you have a much better younger receiving option, even though he's 29 still, but intermediate to deep option who's going to be really good. One of the best separators per some random chart I found on Twitter. So I'm still in. I think this is a home run because the Bills had everything else, right? They have 2 good tight ends. They got a good running back. They had a good slot receiver. And DJ Moore finally will get to play kind of that outside X role where he's just running deep all the time instead of like last year in previous years with the Bills where it was, or the Bears. And, let's get him some bubble screens and check downs and let him run after catch. I think he's going to be the vertical threat. So I'm excited to see if he can live up to that. That's what he was coming out of college initially.
So, I mean, it's going to be tough for him to get on the field with him competing with snaps with Keon Coleman. So we'll see how that...
Keon Coleman, Gabe Davis.
I don't even know if either of those guys are going to be on the roster there. But, I mean, great matchup there with Josh Allen. I mean, it's a guy who can sling intermediate and deep passes, a guy who can separate at that level. The main question I have for you, Phil, is how disappointed are you going to be when DJ Moore continues to put out the exact same fantasy output as he always has?
He's going to have a Justin Fields DJ Moore year when he was like a top 10 receiver because he had one game with 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. So besides that one game, he has put out the exact same numbers, right? 80 yards, maybe a touchdown every 4 games. Yeah, he's going to do that. I agree. But he will have his game where it's 250 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He has consistently been like a mid to back end wide receiver too in fantasy, just on average, but it's none of his games are average. It's, they have those huge explosions, exactly like you're talking. It's kind of interesting, but I don't think this is like a prime Stephon Diggs with the Bills situation. I think this is definitely more of that intermediate deep, like the best version of Gabe Davis when Gabe Davis was actually good.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a home run for fantasy. I can see it being like an 1,100 yard, 7 touchdown kind of year, but it's going to be hit or miss. You're going to laugh. This is like a best ball guy I want where he'll have a monster game. But how many games are going to be, James Cook just handles 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the Bills are, sleeping in the second half while they blow a team out. So no, I don't think it's a home run, but I don't think it's a home run for fantasy, but I think it's a home run for the Bills to try to actually have some punch to their offense.
Love it. I completely agree.
The other piece to this, the dynasty aspect I alluded to, last year in my dynasty league, I tanked super hard. I took all of our brother Steve's second round picks. He had 3 at the time because he had tanked the year prior. And my last pick in the second round was Luther Burden. So he fell down to me, and now he is like arguably 1B to Rome Odunze in Chicago. So I'm excited that one actually worked out.
It's interesting because Rome Odunze was not a very complete receiver last year. He had his like specific routes that he ran as just a lot of long crossers and like try to get him an open field and just use his athleticism and speed. But Luther Burden looked like the better wide receiver. And yes, Rome Odunze was hurt towards the end of last year. So it'll definitely be interesting to see there. But I'm a big Luther Burden fan for this upcoming year.
And Colston Loveland, it's amazing that the Bears could give away DJ Moore like that, and I still love their receiving options, or their offensive skill set A to Z. So we'll see what they can do defensively to be relevant again. I don't want to see those 1-score games keep happening. All right, so first topic we will have, which there is not much, is going to be talking about which teams in 2026 do we expect to flip their records, right? In the NFL, this constantly happens. You have a 5-win team go to 12 and a 12-win team go to 6 or something. And a lot of it is scheduling. A lot of it's 1-score games due to the volatility of outcomes. We saw it with the Chiefs last year, 15 wins down to 6. So layup, that is my first pick. Like, the Chiefs rebounding and being a 10, 11-win team seems like the obvious answer here.
Yeah, I feel like we could skip that. Like, of course.
I was going to say, we don't have to talk too much about that one. That's a good point. But it's like, yeah, they have all the weapons. They have everything except for Rashee Rice, who is constantly a headache. So what about this one, though? One I like to pull back a lot is the Patriots. 14 wins. It's pretty obvious. Well, I don't think it's obvious. I think watching the Super Bowl was exactly what everyone feared for them. Their receivers weren't really that good, actually. They couldn't separate. Their offensive line wasn't good.
And did you say that they released Diggs?
I was about to say, and now they lost a number 1 guy. Like they are back to who we thought they would be going into last year, and I think it's going to be painful. I think Drake May's still a good quarterback, but this team could easily pull back to like 8 or 9 wins, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely overproduced last year, and they really had that cupcake schedule. I mean, don't get me wrong. They played Miami and the New York Jets 4 times, and that'll certainly be helpful. But no, I completely agree. I think that offense was more smoke and mirrors than actually good. Ramondre Stevenson got way too much work. Exactly what you said. The Super Bowl hangover, it's real. It's there for losing teams. And I think just all those close games, I mean, they did blow out quite a few, but I think that they're going to just start flipping those games that they won and just, you didn't think they could, they should, and well, they did anyways.
They're not gonna have that the cupcake schedule, really.
No.
is the biggest one. So that was my number 1. Do you have someone else you want to talk about?
Well, first one was Patriots. It depends. I mean, there's a few like 8 and 9 teams. Like I want to see Indianapolis do better. I want to see them like I know, rough quarterback situation with Daniel Jones coming back hurt, but they were 8-0, man, and they gave Phillip Rivers the ball. I loved it. Love to see it, but no,
I love the stat that was like, what was the worst team in the NFL record wise, and it was like Sauce Gardner's.
It's just Sauce Gardner's
team. Yeah, it's like he didn't won like 1 game with the Jets, and that was it, and then he lost every game with the Colts after they went all in.
Yeah, it's rough luck there, but this one might be obvious, and. But it's Las Vegas Raiders. I just think that their team, they just quit. They had the worst QB room in the league last year, Browns included, and they just could not get anything going. I think that, especially with number 1 overall pick, coach that with Clint Kubiak that we both like. I think that, okay, maybe not flipping it around, but being closer to 500 from a 3-14 team, they're still in a really, really tough division. But
so
they have the last place schedule.
They were on my list as like a team to watch, and it is, but I just couldn't really buy in to that concept of like, you got the Chargers now, and the Chargers just upgraded massively with their offensive coordinator, in my opinion, bringing in Mike McDaniel. You got the Chiefs, who are going to rebound. Broncos, I don't trust them. But it's still, you're in a hard division, and your defense is going to be a mess. Like, I don't think Click Kubiak solves that problem, but I feel like they're going to turn into the equivalent of the NBA League Pass team that you really want to watch all the time. I feel like they're going to have games that are like 30 to 40 nonstop, because I think Mendoza is going to be solid and they have all the offensive weapons. I think Clint Kubiak is just going to scheme it up really well.
Yeah, I know they don't have a defense and they play a bunch of people. By the way, Mike McDaniel's going to the Chargers is my favorite move of the entire offseason for any team. So I think getting him back in the role where he is, completely excelled, giving him actual weapons out there, giving him a quarterback that really frees up like what he can do. No. And then of course they're getting healthier, have Marion Hampton there, and they actually had, decent receivers. We'll see what happens with like Keenan Allen out there, giving like Trey Harris and like Quentin Johnston with Ladd McConkey, like some options. They had a tight end rookie breakout.
Aronde Gadsden.
Yep, Aronde Gadsden. So there's weapons there, and I think that you're just giving a guy who likes a bunch of toys, give him tons of gadgets, like, hey, go to town. But I really think that this is where you see Justin Herbert finally be. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, the big what if guy, and maybe this is the year where he just looks like that MVP caliber. I get all last offseason we talked about how we liked him as a dark horse MVP candidate, and God, it's going to happen again. Get ready for it.
I was going to say, hey, he got an MVP vote, the most controversial MVP vote like ever. I don't know. Sam Munson, I follow him on Twitter. He was like viciously attacked. For one, he's like, I openly acknowledge that like I told everyone I would publicize my ballot when it's done. And then he publicized it. And he was the only one in a super tight race between May and Stafford to pick Justin Herbert, and could have influenced the outcome of who won MVP because of it. And he just got murdered on Twitter for, trying to draw clickbait. He defended it, obviously, on his podcast of like, no, this was a real pick, and he had been on it for weeks prior to the end of the season.
Dude, Peyton Manning was out for the whole year and got an MVP vote. So
did he? I forgot about that.
Yeah, because the Colts looked that bad without him. They're like, well, clearly this guy's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think, what was his name? Kittle. Was there
Kerry Collins?
Yeah, or Kerry Collins. Yeah, Kerry Collins was there, and I think some dude named Painter, and I just know halfway through the year they were almost impossible to watch. It was awful.
All right, so let's circle back to taking teams to flip. Tennessee Titans. I can't remember who they got as head coach. Robert Saleh. So they got Robert Saleh as head coach that I don't know, I think you were in on a little bit for getting a second opportunity. They got Brian Dable, who I really like as offensive coordinator. Cam Ward, I liked more than most people, despite not being a Pro Bowler ahead of Shedeur Sanders, which is the funniest thing in the world. So I think they are definitely going to come out, and Robert Saleh is going to get their defense to play tough. Like, he just gets guys who want to tackle. That's it. They just run all over the field. And I think Dable will put together something on offense better than what they had. I thought they had one of the worst coaching situations and one of the worst talent situations last year. And they still came out to play and played tough, even though they got blown out a lot. So 3-14, I think they can easily shoot up and end second in their division as like a shock to the league.
That one's tough because they are just missing literally everything. The only person that they're not missing on offense outside of quarterback is Tony.
Pollard.
Tony Pollard, man. That guy actually is pretty decent out there. But it's Chigaquanko is their best weapon on their offense. Besides it's him and Tony Pollard. Like, you're not doing anything with that. They need a line. They need everything else. Actually, everything else on that offense.
Yeah, and you know what? Started with a blank slate. Yeah, that's the way I view it. You can only go up from here. But no, I think it's one of those things where solid coaching gets these guys to play a little bit better than average and what you expect. So that's why I just like them to come out and be like more of a heartbeat than just bottom feeders. For Brian Callahan, I thought was way overqualified. Like, we already talk about how we want to get Zach Taylor fired. Well, his OC should have been long gone too, and it was Brian Callahan who got promoted, who moved to Tennessee. So Anyways.
That's a quick exit there, yeah.
All right, this doesn't really count, but I'm just going to put it in for the last team in the AFC that I really like, the Ravens. Obviously, they are a Super Bowl contender, right, when they're healthy. And last year, they were just devastated by injuries. Just a team to watch and be aware of, especially with the Steelers ready to fall off after winning that division. Like, Steelers could be a 5-6 win team to me. I think that's probably the real statement is I don't know what's going to happen in the AFC North with the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals, really just the Ravens and the Bengals. But I do believe the Steelers are done. Whatever their dynasty with Mike Tomlin, the 8-9 dominators or the 9-8 dominators, like I think that's done. I think they're going to tank hard. Mike McCarthy isn't the guy. And I think Aaron Rodgers, if he's already debating not coming back. I think if he doesn't, it's over.
I think he comes back. I don't know. I don't know why. But except he's going to go away to some distant, isolated hut for a week, and he's going to come back ready to play.
Rejuvenated, looking 38 years old again.
I guess there was a report saying that he's staying in good shape. Good timing.
Their defense is just old, and I know their pass rush is young, but like Casey Hampton, T.J. Watt, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, like everyone they counted on for big plays last year, they're just getting up there in age.
Well, and I think that they'll have a down year and go 7-10.
Mike McCarthy's not a good coach, man. All right. Last one to pull back. If you probably have never studied statistics and you don't know what autocorrelation is. What it means is like every other year you switch how good you are. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just hit their peak. They're about to fall off a cliff and come down. I don't care who their coach is. I don't care what happens. Liam Cohen's a good guy. Nothing against him. But last year, 13-4, just like every other time the Jags have a good year, they're going to come down. The Browns don't have their pick anymore. So now they're going to tank hard, get down to 7 wins or something.
Yeah. How long can you hide that Trevor Lawrence is going to go up there with those, hey, man, like that, the Tua contracts, maybe we shouldn't have made him the richest quarterback for a week. Yeah.
It is funny to think like number 2 overall pick, Travis Hunter, number 20 pick something, Brian Thomas Jr. And their best 2 receivers are Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington. Like they have loaded up on the receiving options and have realized it did not work at all. So just rough for the, use of resources.
I think it was just clickbait, but who knows? But I was seeing the things where they're like, yeah, Travis Hunter is going to be a cornerback who plays for some receiver. And that's just so disheartening. But
yeah, absolutely. After the hype of like, oh my gosh, they could have 2 elite receivers after Brian Thomas's dominant first year. Now that guy doesn't want to catch the ball.
I still like Brian Thomas Jr. I want Brian Thomas Jr. hang out. Phil's just
that
gone.
Was me plugging in my laptop. Got the alert that it was going to die. All right, let's head over to the NFC. This one's more fun. And you said I can't use it because everyone knows that I love Jackson Dart. I love Harbaugh. It doesn't matter which one. Always love the Harbaughs. But the Giants is the obvious rebound team of the year. They get their number 1 receiver back. They get a whole new coaching staff in to revitalize their team. They already had one of the best defensive fronts that just underwhelmed for some reason. But no, I am huge.
Aren't they statistically one of the worst teams to rushing defenses of all time?
It was so bad how they went from we have a great defensive front and we added Abdul Carter to it to this doesn't even work. We can't get pressure at all.
How many sacks did Abdul Carter have?
3.
Was it 3? I think that's too high. Man, talk about someone who just completely disappeared. He did have 4 sacks.
Yeah, 4 sacks. He had problems with showing up on time, nothing good. I remember when the Browns missed him, I was kind of disappointed. And then Mason Graham had bad training camp reports at first. Much happier now. Anyways, so yeah, Giants.
I think they're the flashy team. I think it's the new toy thing, hey, new quarterback, new coach. And I don't know. Yes, Malik Neighbors does make a difference. I think he is he could be the 2 or 3 years we're talking about Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Malik Neighbors. Maybe
I do not like all the what's it called? Mock drafts, having them get Carnell Tate in the first round. They have so many other holes in their roster. I would prefer them to fill out something else and grab a second round receiver to pair because there's enough receivers that they can get early in the second round.
Is
A high
Wan'Dale
end guy.
Robinson still there? Because he's actually not a bad receiver. He's small, but he's not a bad receiver.
Yeah, I think he should be. If not, that's awkward.
And then Theo Johnson, like solid tight end. I mean, they have some decent players, definitely. I just don't know how much of a believer I am in Jackson Dart. I know it's like, hey, he looked great. He definitely. I mean, if I was a Giants fan, I'm sure I'd be really pumped about him. But he he like plays to get injured, not something you want to see in a quarterback, and he's not that athletic to do that. Lamar Jackson doesn't get hit. That's why he does all right.
I think some good coaching is going to talk some sense into him. Hopefully, Wan'Dale Robinson is a free agent, so
He is.
no franchise tag. So we will see what happens there after a great year. Honestly,
Yeah, I think fantasy-wise, he's like a top 10 wide receiver. It's pretty nuts.
dude, those games, 10 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown.
Dude, Jameis Winston.
PPR machine.
A couple games of
All right.
Jameis Winston does that for him and Jerry Jeudy, man.
You have any NFC teams you like? I have like 2 or 3 more that I like.
I have one that I just want to do good, and I just Phil, you can't do that in our group chat, man. Our family group chat is so against Kevin Stefanski, man.
I'm all in. Like, I got his back.
No, but it's the Washington Commanders, and it's just I do think
Take the NFC Championship team from 2 years ago and have them bounce back after
and
the
they were
quarterback
so
was
bad,
dead.
and they were just a bunch of old guys, and they just got hurt, and it just looked so rough for them. But every once in a while, they showed some flashes. R.I.P. Austin Eckler. I don't know if it was a knee or an Achilles for him, but I think it was an Achilles because I was like, oh,
I think it's a career ender at this point.
It looked like a career ender. And then like their defense was like Bobby Wagner and Marshawn Lattimore. Like they were just getting skeletons out there, man. But they flash sometimes. I just think Jaden Daniels is actually like pretty decent. I don't think it's going to be an RG3. I know it's such an easy comp right now, especially if you're a Washington fan, but I want to see them bounce back. I'd love to see them do better than the Cowboys. I'm sick of the Cowboys. And what's sad, when we first talked about teams that can like turn it around, I was like, I think the Eagles can turn it around. I think get them an offensive coordinator and they can actually
the 11-6 Eagles can shoot up 17-1.
Record wise, I'm wrong, but just by visualization and watching them, I'm right.
Yeah.
They were hard to watch.
Just entertainment value can soar through the roof. Ironically, the team I like to like maybe have a real bounce back is the Cowboys. Like that offense, like it looked best in the NFC, and that's next to the Rams really as like the class of the NFC where no one can stop them. Maybe the Seahawks can, but I think they have enough weapons, and Brian Schottenheimer was surprisingly a good enough coach. Javonte Williams, finally, like he actually looked like what Denver Javonte Williams we were hoping for. Their defense was that bad, but at least they can throw resources at it now. They upgraded with grabbing Quinnen Williams late in the year too. So I don't know. For as much as I don't like the Cowboys, they cut Trayvon Diggs, so I thought was a waste because he was jumping routes and getting burned. I don't know. As much as the Cowboys, I don't like them. I think they can come out and have that niche of just the best offensive team in the NFC and make stuff happen.
So if you look, especially like the second half of the year, Dak Prescott had some absolute awful games. Like he was very much against good teams or against bad teams, he did well, and against good teams, he did not. And yes, their offense looks really good with turns out having 2 really good receivers helps out a ton. But yeah, I mean, losing Micah Parsons and just whatever happened to Diggs on that defensive side, he went from, no one ever thought he was like a top 5, but people were like, oh, this guy's like a Pro Bowl caliber cornerback, to just being, I mean, absolute like hole in the defense that teams just picked on. Thank God that Deron Bland was on the other side, and he's like, actually, guys, I'm the best one, and I'm really good, and he actually is. But I mean, that defense is just so suspect. I want the Raiders to be what the Cowboys were last year. That's exactly what I want.
7-9-1. All right. Hey, fun to watch.
But I just don't know. Dak definitely, I think he looks decent sometimes, but I don't think he looks that good against good teams.
All right. So with that out of the way, the team I wanted to short, but couldn't. The San Francisco 49ers. They are the team that had a bunch of lucky wins with backups. And now they get all their players back. So it's like you can't bet them to lose.
They don't.
What?
So this is the saddest one. It's my guy, George Kittle. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about him, but an Achilles tear at the end of the year is not like people are like, oh, he's expecting to be back for the beginning of the year. I'm like, I hope to God not. Like, but I mean, he went from, in my opinion, the best tight end in football, and he's going to come back and be a good tight end. Like he's not going to be a separator anymore. He's not going to have these like game breaking plays. He's just not going to, and that stinks. The blocking will be all right because the blocking will be all right, but he's not going to be the same player. And I think that he's a huge part of what makes that offense roll. And it's just that threat in the middle, the fact that he starts in the middle, can go outside, and and you just have to know where he's at all times. I think that there's some splits with like Christian McCaffrey's like receiving production when Kittle's not in there, and it turns out he actually doesn't do as well without Kittle, and found that interesting. Run blocking is obviously not the same without him. Long story short, they're missing what I think is like a very non QB wise and also non offensive player of the year candidate wise, like the biggest piece of that offense.
I agree. I trust Kyle Shanahan to solve that this offseason. I also think it matters, maybe not. I think it matters a little bit more based on what their defense was last year to get Fred Warner and Nick Bosa back. After not having to pass rush and not being able to tackle. Their defense was so bad.
Yeah. By the way, who are their receivers? This team that's so good.
Brandon Ayuk's on that roster.
For another, week or so?
Yeah, he's one of the guys that will be on that chopping block to get rid of his salary before the certain deadline or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ricky Pearsall when he's on the field. I do. Kendrick Bourne works. He had 110 versus the Rams.
Him, Demarcus Robinson. Yeah, keep naming all these studs.
Sky Moore.
Those MVS out there he was out there for someone.
Yeah.
Sky Moore.
He was out there for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Man, I trust him. Kyle Shanahan solves that problem. And don't pass catchers, he finds those. Anyways, so I want to pick him to pull back though, and I just couldn't. I had the Cowboys. Oh, and then the last team to jump is the Saints. Obviously, everyone knows the Tyler Shuck end of the year numbers. The small push for him to get Rookie of the Year because of how well he played and how many games the Saints won after being catastrophically bad. We laugh, Ken, you do at least, about there not being a cap, and we joke that the Saints proved that wrong by coming up with a giant tax bill or dead cap bill, and they ate it this year. They had $110 million in dead cap on it was 40% of their cap was taken away. This isn't the NBA. People get it confused. It's like you get a tax bill when you go over the cap, right? And they call it over. No. In the NFL, there is a number that is the cap, and you eat away with it. So they were given 3 less players. Think about this. They could have Jamar Chase, TJ Watt, and I don't even know who the best corner, Sauce Gardner's the top paid corner. They could have those 3 players last year with that amount of money. Just utterly ridiculous how much that took up. And that falls off this year. I think Derek Carr's number is a dead cap number still for next year, but huge room to add players. They were impressive. Love Kellen Moore's coaching. They always played hard. They got some good offensive weapons still. I think they bounced back strong.
So when I say that the cap does not exist, what I mean in reality is it's so easy. It's like someone bending the rules. It's like having that recess monitor person that's playing football with the kids where it's I'm in charge, but I'm not going to blow my whistle, and I'm not going to there's so many ways to avoid getting penalized. And the Saints were just I'm going to literally not do any of this. I'm not going to try to work around this in any way. It's so easy to dodge a horrible cap situation. And it's really just the Saints and how much they screw it up.
Anyway, so what do you think, though? Do you think the Saints, NFC South is obviously one that's a wild division because the teams are so bad, anyone can win it. We saw the Panthers come back and win it this year. But that's why I'm take the bottom team, make it the first team. Perfect. Worst to first scenario.
I can flip it. I'll tell you that I can confidently say the Panthers will not win that division. Is that flipping anything?
That will save so much money for the Panthers because they have Bryce Young on a 5th-year option right now. And if he looks like trash, he is gone for sure.
Oh, but no, I really liked actually watching the Saints play. Like at the end of the year, Shuck looks good. Olave's good, and their defense played like pretty solid for not getting paid with no money out there on the field apparently. But no, I definitely think that doing something around Chuck and giving him a shot because he was definitely just a fill-in. They were just like, yeah, Arch Manning's out there somewhere, I'm sure. But no, I mean, they played a lot of competitive games. So I think they, looked a little better than their record last year.
Yeah, I think they definitely fell into something unintentionally. And I think big credit to Kellen Moore because I'm super biased and I liked Kellen Moore. So I gotta toot my own horn and hope my guy was the right pick. I guess last one for an obvious pullback, in my opinion, is the Bears. They won so many close games. Like it's got to be like you flip Kansas City Chiefs syndrome where you flip all their 1-score games and next thing you know they're 5-12. So not that I think it will happen, but just something to be on alert for.
I wanted to pick someone from that division, but you can't because I mean
9 wins.
Exactly. So I was like, you're not really going to flip that, but
Vikings would have been perfect if they didn't win 5 straight to end the year.
Yeah. I will say Caleb Williams definitely changed my mind in the playoffs. Like I was pretty set that I'm like, I just don't know if he's got it. But towards the end of the game, like against the Rams, when he threw that pick in overtime, that was DJ Moore's fault, Phil. Sorry.
He wasn't separated on that play.
But just looked like, I mean, he was in control. That was his game to lose. And they lost it. But no, that was when I'm like, okay, yeah, I know I was stubborn on it. But Caleb Williams, I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't know if he's the best quarterback in that draft yet. But I mean, definitely showed a lot out there.
All right. So with that, let's pivot over to the other topic we were going to do, which is talking about QB situations, right? So going into recent years, do you think 3 or 4 years ago, it was you draft your guys and then after 3 years, you like them, you pay them a lot of money, top of the market, whatever the number is, and you move on, you have them for 5 years. And now we see teams being like, we screwed up so bad by paying these guys, right? Trevor Lawrence was in question last year at the start of the year when the Jags were like 2-2 and he wasn't looking great, fighting with Liam Cohen actively. Tua is mentioned to get cut, $250 million. Kyler Murray's mentioned to get cut. Russell Wilson actually got cut. Aaron Rodgers has jumped around for teams. And then lastly, Deshaun Watson, the most obvious. The only reason the Browns haven't cut him is because the money's 100% guaranteed. So, but then you see teams that actively pursued flexibility with their quarterback being successful. Sorry, forgot that. Darnold. Obviously, Super Bowl with the Seahawks. They got Geno Smith. He was successful when he asked for a long-term lock-in. They said no, and they replaced him. Baker Mayfield going to the Bucs, keeping flexibility there. The Colts, they got Anthony Richardson, but still said, "Hey, let's keep our options open." So it seems like being willing and able to accept changes. Yeah.
So pretty classically, the other one.
Just gonna get Stella. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Got you all hyped up and then with a buzzkill. Now you can go.
While you were gone, Danielle Hunter got a 1-year, $40 million extension.
From the Texans?
Texans. 1 year, $40 million. Oh my God.
I feel like that's saying we're going to pay Will Anderson next year. And while we have the money, like his money allocated, you can just take it and then you can go.
That's interesting. Wow. $40 million. Good for him, man. He deserves it.
That was, I mean, the reason that defense was so good was because they had 2 top 5 pass rushers.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, yeah, the people that were paid to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL probably shouldn't. So you had T-Law, you had Kyler, Tua, Deshaun Watson, Jimmy Garoppolo. I love that one. That's my favorite one.
I forgot about that.
His team did well, though, thanks to Brock Purdy.
I was going to say, and they also traded 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance.
My God.
No one has dedicated more resources to getting their quarterback than the Niners, and they picked it last.
You're wrong. There's one team.
No, they don't count.
Yeah. But point being, I think the answer is, this is going to sound obvious and stupid, but don't pay average quarterbacks like they're the best quarterback in the NFL. Maybe just don't do that. So I know that's what the market demanded.
You know the rules.
Yeah. You have to. You have to. No, these other quarterbacks, no, that we don't have
to. The Commanders didn't pay Kirk Cousins, and then he went and got, what was that? Top of the market, fully guaranteed money from the Vikings when he made that transition. I can't remember what the numbers were.
Kirk Cousins should talk to everybody about how to make money. Investing in yourself.
Kirk Cousins definitely should teach finance classes.
He doesn't have to. He has all that money. But, a lot of it, I think it's a lot more situational. The Seahawks, first off, in the offseason, the Seahawks are offered Geno Smith a 2-year deal. And he said no. Geno Smith at the beginning of last year decided to go to the Raiders instead of the team that eventually won the Super Bowl, which is hilarious.
Hey, hindsight's 2020, and he said, "I know I won't win a Super Bowl here. You deserve better, Seahawks." He's a man of the Seattle people.
Yeah. So talking about Kyler, who, yes, he's not officially released yet, but I guess we're just waiting some time here. He might get traded, who knows? But he's in Arizona, and Arizona historically has not been a team that develops and facilitates a winning area around him. He had DeAndre Hopkins, and that looked good for a little bit. And besides that, he has not had tons of good weapons on this team. Michael Wilson has been hiding there, and he's just waiting for his Jacoby
I'm letting
Brissett
you know,
ball.
Michael Wilson is that fantasy draft in Madden. He's my 28th pick. He's always at the bottom, but he's always my number 2 receiver. I mad love for him. So him and DJ Moore running my Madden teams.
Oh, he kept me alive in a lot of fantasy leagues this year. So, but anyways, point being, I think it matters a lot on the team. The Seattle Seahawks, they did not, remember at the beginning of the year, we were like, they have two decent running backs. Who cares? They don't have a line, and they just got rid of DK Metcalf, and who was the other? Lockett was the year before they got rid of him. They only have JSN back, and it's like, oh, turns out that guy's pretty good. But we were not talking about this offense being like one quarterback away from anything. But get on there with one of the best defenses of the past 5 years, and then you get there with a good offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden really starts to kick in. So I really think that where you're going, like at Baker Mayfield, for example, in Tampa Bay, rule number one with Baker Mayfield is you don't give him anything, you make him earn it. And then every single year, it's almost worth it to get the $40 million backup quarterback.
You offer him $40 million a year, $20 million's incentives. All right.
You offer him 40, then you offer his backup 41. It is worth it. Okay. But point being, he's had so many good offensive coordinators go through there. And he's had all of these offensive weapons. Those receivers, even when they get hurt, they have enough good wide receivers in Tampa Bay. And then turns out Bucky Irving, turned out to be something. But the point being, I really think this is so situational. So yes, if you're a bad franchise, don't overpay for an average quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
So who do you have as bad? Right now, looking through the list, Jets, Browns,
bad.
Just Jets, Browns, Raiders. I'm crossing the Giants off the list of bad because they got Harbaugh, and the Cardinals. That's 4 teams that I would say you're doomed. I don't know if you've seen Atlantis, the Disney movie, where he's he's the demolitions guys messing with the main character, and he's like, you shouldn't drink that. That's nitroglycerin. Don't drink. Don't move. Don't do anything except maybe pray. It's one of my favorite lines. I wish I could pull up the GIF and show it to you. Anyways, so that's what you're telling me about those 4 teams. They shouldn't do anything except maybe pray.
I think if you're getting somebody, just honestly do what the Jets did last year, quarterback, and just give up. And get get someone like Justin Fields, get somebody to be out there, of course, but you have to set up a team around him first. For example, with a high pick. I mean, I guess the Raiders are a perfect example. They have pieces around. If you didn't have like a good tight end, good running back, like some decent. Well, it's not decent pieces on the defense. It's just Max Crosby,
who's going to be gone.
who's going to be gone. But what are you getting for him? You're getting a bunch.
Hopefully draft picks.
What is it? You think 2 first rounders for Max Crosby?
Not for a 29-year-old. I would do like 1 1/3, maybe a 4th.
1 1/3. It depends.
And it's going to be
when.
like a back end. Yeah,
I feel like if you trade him like mid-year, and no way, because Micah Parsons
is like 24. There's a big difference in like an extra 5 years.
And then Sauce, what'd Sauce get
2
at the
first.
trade deadline? 2 first. My point is, trade him at the trade deadline where people are desperate.
And people like the Colts think they can win.
But there's at least some pieces there. The Cardinals, the Steelers, the Dolphins. Like, if you're getting a quarterback, if you're like throwing a lot of money at someone, it's just gonna fall apart. You got to give them something to stand on.
All right, I agree. Like, you can't be like Kyler Murray's the answer. The other guys we've mentioned in previous, like Daniel Jones, obviously he's not available, but like guys said that Mac Jones, right? Mac Jones is probably the perfect candidate who first rounder, showed potential in a reasonable system despite not having talent when he played, right? Kendrick Bourne was his number 1.
Wait,
and
pause.
he still was.
Real quick. Yeah. When we're talking about getting quarterbacks and you're looking for somebody to throw money at, someone who was in San Francisco is not a bad idea.
This is just get San Fran's back up every time. But so I agree. Like, if you're looking, then you have to already be a relevant team. And the problem is it's circular, right? Where it's our team was relevant, so we like our quarterback, right? But a good example is when you just got to let your guy go. And at the end of the day, guys that I think should be like open and available, that shouldn't be, you don't give them top of market money. Like Tua, obviously, like Jared Goff, I think is right below that threshold, even though Lions are the feel-good love team, everyone loves Dan Campbell. But consistently, we've seen the same thing out of Jared Goff. The best situations anyone could want, plays phenomenally, and teams just don't do what they need to do. 13-3 in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Like, you're supposed to have the offensive destiny, and you get shut down. Then
their offense, Lions, I mean, they disappeared this year several times.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, all right, you have Ben Johnson, you have the coordinator, the offensive guru everyone wants last year or 2 years ago now, and 14-3 falls apart to the Commanders, an up and coming team. What? And then last year, the offense just wasn't there, wasn't clicking, and there was enough talent that they were a 9-win team and put up points every now and then. But Goff is not the answer to the solution to the problem that is, how are we going to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I could see that. Like, obviously, it's tough. It's tough to build around a team, but you can still look at pieces and parts and know their decent. For example, the Falcons, I mean, they didn't have a good team, but they have some great parts there. I mean,
I would I would want Jared Goff on the Falcons really badly.
No, I mean, the Falcons are one of those teams where it's like, listen, go in and get some of these guys because you have pieces around them. I'm only saying that because I heard things that Stefanski doesn't like Penix, and I'm like, I want it to fall apart. Yeah,
dude, he likes quarterbacks that have legs, and I'm not saying that can run. I mean, actually have operating legs. 3 ACL tears is what he's got.
ACL tears is not that bad.
And the other option when he joined was Kirk Cousins, who is like 40 off an Achilles. Like, come on. He wants someone that can move. So let's flip this question around. How many quarterbacks are worth that top of the league money? That's a tough one. And if we pause for effect to make a list, I can cut it out.
No, let's just go off top of our heads here. We'll go by division.
All right. So let's do the easy ones. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar.
For sure.
Let's go. All right.
Our favorite, just say it. Just say it. It's our favorite. Put him in there. Herbert, absolutely. And then, so that's 5, all AFC at the moment. And the last one, I would include Drake May. Second year MVP, 14-3. He automatically falls into at this moment,
at this moment, he's an MVP candidate kind of guy.
I mean, he's done everything that you'd want. He showed signs first year and did everything that you'd want him to do, just win, even if it's ugly second year. Perfect. He's not Mahomes, but yeah, I mean, definitely got to put him up there.
All right. Now, this one's fun. Let's go to the NFC. Yeah, I know I interrupted, but I just want to get this list out. As of today,
I can't say Dak. I can't put Dak in there.
No, because he's been controversial. Jalen Hurts, would you do it?
No, absolutely not.
So you've seen his upside is probably two of the best statistical Super Bowls we've seen.
2 games. Yeah.
Specifically,
he had those 2 very good games. He had amazing 2 games in the Super Bowl.
It's Nick Foles fever. I don't know what it is about Eagles quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, but they are unstoppable.
I just have a rule that if any quarterback loses a game and plays the whole second half and does not complete 1 pass, they cannot get paid top dollar. They just can't.
All right. So next up on this list, Mr. Analytics, Jordan Love. Why is he Mr. Analytics? Because he is like top 3 in EPA per play, PFF grading, everything that you would want a quarterback, but the volume isn't there, and the monstrous games aren't always there.
I think the random injuries are. He has a lot of random injuries.
And that he did have a great 4 touchdown game against the Bears in the playoffs, and they did not lose due to his fault. That was 2 missed extra points and 2 missed field goals. Like, their kicker super blew that game. Would you pay Jordan Love?
Now, when you say would you pay, are you asking me would I pay top? I'm talking.
Yeah, no. This is the top dollar as of right. Right now, we have 6 quarterbacks in the AFC that we would pay.
Yep. No, I'm not paying Jordan Love because he can't stay on the field consistently. And by the way, my idea of analytics is you can't see it on the field, but it looks really good on paper. Those are what you call discounts. You get those people at a discount and it looks good. That's where analytics, that's what Moneyball was.
That's 100% what Moneyball is.
Yeah. Stafford, yes.
He gets a 70, 80 million for the next year until he retires.
Stafford's a top dollar quarterback.
All right. And now there's only 2 that I'd be interested in. You can share your others if you have others. Number 1, Caleb Williams. Would you do it?
That's tough, right?
I franchise tag him.
Yeah.
He's getting the tag treatment. Franchise tag, and we're going to see what happens.
Yes, and the fun of this game, I have him in the Drake May category.
All right, so then we are at 7, 8, including him, and we will wrap it up with my last guy that is potential. I would agree with you. Jaden Daniels, right? MVP his first year, second year ruined with injuries. What is your view of him at the moment?
Whoa, you didn't have my man in there.
Yeah, well,
Brock Purdy.
See. Nope, he is. I am currently starting Mac Jones overpaying him.
Jaden Daniels is a hard one because it's such a small sample size. Like, it's the 2 years, like the main difference between him and May, Williams, and him is that those guys did it in their second year, not their first, and the most recent one. And because we're playing this recency game, I'm saying no.
Okay.
But I'm putting I will kick myself for not doing it down the road. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm going to be mad about it.
He's getting franchise tag from me, and if there is any signs, I
keep adding this franchise tag. That's not how this game works, man.
It exists. The Dak Prescott treatment, man. You can pay that guy $45 million for 1 year, like Danielle Hunter, and then choose to let him go. But to your point, Brock Purdy was a great question, right? So, like, at what point am I starting to accept these guys with flaws? It is really like, all right, Brock Purdy, you're probably getting 85% of the money. If they're $300 million, you're $245, $250.
Yeah, and I mean, saying, hey, you're good, but you're not worth number 1 quarterback, money, it should be okay. And if they want to walk on that, fine. Because I mean, they're just showing that it's not working out. Like, don't overpay, especially if you're not winning now. And I know everybody thinks that they can win now.
Well, so I was going to say, not Brock Purdy sitting here at 12 wins, 13 wins, 14 wins. He's like, dude, we always win with me.
Well, Brock Purdy is win now because he's on that team.
And same with Jared Goff, right? They were like, all these wins, I'm on the team. Why don't I get my money? So anyways,
because these other quarterbacks can do it just as good as you.
All right. Okay, I like that. I feel like we were pretty definitive. Let's wrap this up with QB, who's actually super controversial after I think the worst set of playoffs that I have seen, and it's CJ Stroud. That man cannot catch a snap in the playoffs. He went from like the best playoff performer that we saw from college through smoking the Browns to the worst playoff games that we are seeing out of any quarterback. He got smoked by the Ravens the second game his rookie year. I can't remember what he did 2 years ago. And then his stats were atrocious this year. And he was fortunate to play the Steelers in round one and get some defensive plays to win that one. And then against the Patriots, dude, they wanted the Texans to win, I swear, because Drake May was equally as bad. But CJ Stroud said, no, I will be worse.
Was it 8 or 10 turnovers that he had in these 2 games this year?
It was like 10 fumbles, 8 lost or something, or like 8 total turnovers. It was so bad.
Those like simple out, like these out route, like complete them in his sleep are getting picked off because they're behind, and it was just rough.
Would you be paying like would you give him 80% money? Would he be in your Brock Purdy category still? Actually, he's a winner.
Right where Brock Purdy is exactly where I put him. And this might be just some Ohio State like bias for him, but I think he's good, and I think that the teams around him, they did an awful job of putting anything around him. I'm talking about a line. I'm talking about running backs. The only thing they put on him is Nico Collins. Nico Collins was a third round? Third rounder who broke out in year 3. That was an accident. And then
whoa. 2 years ago, they had the best receiving core: Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. And then it was torn ACL, ripped apart knee that may not play ever again, and Nico Collins, who lives on like one hamstring.
He's out most of the. I saw one. I think he's never had 80 receptions in a year, and he's like always. He just has these awesome like huge breakout games. Like he looks like the best wide receiver in the league often, I'm gonna say, but that there's nothing else on. There's no threat on that team, on that offense. I mean, if you put any of those quarterbacks that we've been talking that we're lumping in on this team, I think they just look horrendous. Like Jared Goff on that team is just destroyed. He's out of the league.
No, yeah, he's dead. Like he's on his back 90% of plays.
Tua actually might be dead.
Tua would be in wrapped up. He need what's it called? The concussion helmet. I can't think of it.
Oh my God.
Guardian
cap. The Guardian cap. Yeah. But like Trevor Lawrence, like honestly, I think Trevor Lawrence does exactly what Stroud did if he's on that team in the playoffs. So no, I am giving Stroud a pass, but he's got to turn it around here. Like the Texans have to put better people around him, and he has to turn it around coming up here pretty quickly.
Damn. All right. So we agree way too much on that. And realistically,
if I was a team needy of a quarterback, and this is not, I have some pieces and I'm ready, more of a, I'm desperate and want to make a splash. And I would trade a lot for CJ Stroud. I would overpay for CJ Stroud.
People saying he's worth 1 first rounder, I think is ridiculous. Like he is still worth 2 minimum. I mean, and I'm with you.
Yeah, consistent starting quarterback in the league is probably worth 2 first rounders, unfortunately.
I don't know. I like to say I would be the guy who's constantly cycling quarterbacks every 5 years, looking for value. But I know at the end of the day, as a GM, when you're happy, you got to fall into if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because I need my job.
The one really frustrating part that I've come to realize is that more so at the end of the year, you keep hearing about people who are not football people making decisions on who's the starting quarterback for the NFL. It's the most important it's the most important position. It's probably one of the highest like turnover and like failure rates of a position in sports in general. And a lot of times it has a lot more to do with like the owners or things like that, because they're GMs. Oh, they're paying them, so you got to play them. And like you hear these things where they're like, yeah, Brock Purdy, he didn't start till week whatever it was. It's like he probably on any other team gets cut because 7th round, pick, like probably just doesn't even make it, especially when you draft a 1st round pick. And nope, instead of that, I guess that the quarterback coach and I think the offense coordinator for like weeks were like, he is the best player on our team. Like he is the best quarterback in that room, and every one of them know it. And they're like, nope, we're gonna go with all these other, Jimmy G,
Trey Lance, Jimmy G,
yeah. So you hear all those after the fact.
So let's lock this in. Cleveland Browns. You have the man who ran out the coach in Shedeur Sanders, rightfully so, wrongfully so, doesn't matter, and the man who is on your salary cap for $80 million. If you think you are a playoff team with Deshaun Watson and not Shedeur Sanders, do you start Deshaun Watson?
Can we take the names out of this?
Sure.
For my sake.
All good.
If you think the quarterback is, if you're a playoff team with one and not the other, it's you start the playoff team one every time.
You're not a Super Bowl team. You are well aware that you are a 10-7 team. You're losing the 1st round.
You're the
Steelers.
Playoffs. Make the playoffs.
All right. So you want Tomlin, huh? You're just hoping the Browns can hire him next year when he comes back.
One, I would love it. Yes. If you're not even talking about a project, and if they're a project, look at Aaron Rodgers, look at Pat Mahomes. Like, cool, sit there on the bench and figure out how to play football. It's fine. It'll work. Be patient.
You can't learn behind Deshaun Watson, though. Let's be real. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, that's why I got to take the names out, because it would sound funny if I said it.
You got to learn from Watson how to do this thing. The start of our offseason content covering high level, and at least I think it's interesting discussion, like how do you approach team building, how my Madden teams look. That's what everyone cares about. I look forward to hopefully getting Connor back at some point so we can do some real draft stuff, get some feedback from him. But other than that, I don't know, we'll do it during the offseason. Probably list and rankings like you want as we get closer and more information comes out.
Tell us what you guys want besides this JJ Watt working hard.
That's what everyone wants. All right. Well, Ken, thanks everyone for listening, and yeah, see ya.